you're a former marketing leader. You used to sell insurance, and now you're in tech sales. So, Hobby, we have a lot to unpack here in your journey to getting in tech sales. So, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself? Because you have a unique background because you worked at the same company for a while. You did marketing, and then you got into insurance sales, and now you're doing tech sales. So, why don't you unpack all that for us?
So the previous company, the first company actually I got in, it was actually it's a financial services company. So it's insurance. I got in when I was 20 years old. I got recruited very young, and I fell in love with. I mean, nobody fall in love with sales. I wouldn't even say I fell in love with sales, but just more so the helping people. As far as just being able to protect and cover a family. God forbid something is to happen to them. So I fell in love with that. And for me, I'm a long term person in everything I do. I don't do things just to hop around. Um, yeah, 10 years. And to be honest, because I was so young when I got with the company, as I got older, it was like, okay, let's evaluate. Where am I in life? And of course, there are more opportunities out there. So I made the executive decision to just go out there and explore. And of course, when I left, I went to another company. I'm still a licensed agent. I have my life, health, and annuity. And so I parked my license with this company that is, is Family First Life. So now with that, with the insurance, I just say I'm on referral base. Because for 10 years, people know that I do insurance. So if somebody ever I get referrals here and there, so there's no need to let go of my license. So, but I definitely was intrigued with getting into tech.
What was it about tech that intrigued you? Because you talked about being a long-term thinker. You put in a lot of experience as a marketing leader at a company. Then you got into insurance sales. What was it about tech that attracted you to changing industries entirely?
If somebody would have told me I would be in tech, I probably would not believe them because I always tell people I'm not technical. I saw an interview, and I think almost 80% of people in course careers, the gentleman Cyrus, led them there. So I love listening to podcasts just to really feed my brain. And one day I was listening to a podcast between Anthony O'Neill and Cyrus, and he talked about how he went from Uber to tech and making over six figures. I'm thinking, wow, no degree. Okay, I'm listening. So I started listening, and I listened for a couple of months, and I kind of followed his post and some of the guests that he would have on his show. And one of the recruiters he had. So then I started thinking, what? Because he talked about the culture in the tech world, and I've never experienced that. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 10 years. I've never experienced being part of, corporate America where I'm getting taken care of. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you have freedom of time, but you're working, you don't even count your hours because you're literally working all the time. So I got very, very intrigued. And of course, he was showing the lifestyle of what tech can do. And one fateful day, he did a panel with recruiters, and one of the recruiters said, if you're trying to break into tech, find out what background you have and try to go
Mm.
through that door. So then it just happened that they used sales as an example. I said, oh, I mean, say I never knew that being an insurance agent, I was considered B2C. I never knew that was a thing. So I started looking into it, and I said, you know what? Okay, I think course careers is just the extra knowledge because I already have the sales background, the mindset, all of that, and I said, okay, let's see what the tech world have to offer, but just really the culture, and I'm starting to experience it a little bit. I'm 2 weeks old with my company now, but so far so good.
And to your point, Hobby, it's entirely different sales, B2C, business to consumer, B2B, business to business. And from the outside looking in, it's not so obvious. Most people don't think about these things. Most people don't consider, well, what is my ideal customer profile?
Yeah.
Who is my buyer persona that I'm selling to? And that's why we put together the Course Careers program to help folks with maybe no background, no experience, no degrees, no connections, understand exactly what do you need to know to be successful and break into tech. So how did Course Careers prepare you to successfully pivot your career from insurance sales to tech sales?
I will put it this way. Let's just say I was speaking my native tongue, and Course Careers, by taking Course Careers, I learned how to speak the tech language, because a lot of things, even till today, I'm going through the training program with my company now, the orientation. And like today, we had a video call where the gentleman was talking about ideal client, profile and the persona, and they were even talking about, okay, you go into your cadence and go. So all the verbiage that they were using, I said, oh my God, thank God I know what you're saying, because I never heard of any of it. So if I had tried to just blindly shift from B to C and just come into B to B, I would be so lost, because not only am I having to learn what the company is about and how they service their customers, but I'm having to learn the verbiage. And oh my God, I would have been so lost. So each time I hear a terminology that I learned with Course Careers, I'm like, oh God, thank you. Thank you. I already know, I know the words. So it helped tremendous. I mean, I couldn't, the company probably would have never hired me, because it showed during my interview that I had some knowledge. Of course, they were not looking at me to know everything, but I spoke the lingo of B2B, of course, thanks to Course Careers. And so I was able to get my foot in the door.
And that's a testament to you, Hobby, as well, for applying yourself and learning the information, because all the answers to the test are there right in front of you. It's just learning the information, seeking it out. Hey, this is what I would actually be doing in tech sales. This is why it might be a good fit for me. This is how I break in. What were some of your biggest concerns, Hobby, about doing Course Careers? I know a lot of folks talk about, is it worth the money? Is it actually going to help me get hired? What were some of your biggest concerns about doing it? And then how did you get to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself? Because I think that that's a place a lot of folks who are watching this are in right now. And I think they'd love to hear your perspective on this.
So, of course, the biggest concern I think with everyone is, will I really get a return on my money? And because there's an influx of people, again, because of that interview and because of the gentleman, and God bless him, because there's an influx in people now looking to get into tech. When you see so many people wanting to do what you do, you almost get a little bit scared. Of course, we got to have an abundance mindset to know that there's a lot of companies out there. But when you see so many people going for the same position with however many companies, you start thinking, well, am I good enough? We just start doubting ourselves. So for me, it was more so, is it worth it? Because initially I applied to about 20 companies before Course Careers, trying to see, and of course doing the qualification. When I'm reading it, I said, I have no clue what they're asking for, because I don't even know what they want. But you know what? I have 10 years of sales. So I was holding my sales badge. I got 10 years of
Just
sales.
bypass the gatekeeper.
I'm like, I know me. If they see this resume, they don't know me, but God is going to make miracles. So of course that was delusion. And each email I got back was, we picked other candidate that had more experience, and which of course they should. So then it was like, okay, I have spent $450, $500 on things that I don't even remember. Let me invest this. Plus, to be honest, I knew that once I took the course, and of course now I have the knowledge and I updated my resume, I knew it was just a matter of time. It's not if I would get a job, it's when. So once I kind of have that conversation with myself, it was like, game on. Let's do this.
It sounds like the information gave you that absolute confidence that things would eventually work out in your favor. And that's so interesting that you just decided, hey, I'm just going to start applying to companies, but you didn't know what you were necessarily looking for. And that's what I think is so interesting about this, is because these companies will put on the job description college degree or minimum XYZ years of experience, when in reality, it's not required. It's just to get folks who wouldn't be a good fit not to apply, so they don't waste their time. But if you know exactly what you're looking for and how to position yourself, it sounds like that's what was able to help you. Yeah. How are you now? And I know you're a few weeks into the career. How did you use the information in the interview process? And when deciding what companies to apply for? Because I think a lot of folks get held up at that step, and they get in their own way of, well, how many companies should I apply to? What company should I apply to? Do I want to be remote, go in person? Do I want to move? So how did you navigate that process?
So I think first you have to make the decision. Number one, I applied through LinkedIn. I know there's other places to apply, but LinkedIn was a bit more streamlined as far as the filter. So I made sure that I click technology, because there's SDR roles in other field that's not tech. So I made sure, because I had put my resume on other website and they were throwing me other companies that had nothing to do with tech. I said, no. And it was so tempting to keep applying, but I said, you know what? No, let's stay focused. So I loved LinkedIn, and that's actually where I got my job from. But number one, I knew that I wanted to work remote. That was just it. So when I go through LinkedIn and I'm setting up the filter, looking for a job, I click remote, not hybrid, not in person, remote. So I'm not even going to waste my time applying to a job if it's not remote. And that was the one of the things. So you have to know exactly what you're looking for. So when you go through the filter, when you're applying, and you have to watch out when you're applying, you got to make sure that the company is a tech company, because it can be any company. They will have the title and you get excited and then kind of find out that it's not. And if the goal is to break into tech, you can't get swayed, because after some time you get tempted to want to apply somewhere else.
What do you like about remote work?
I love the freedom. I love the freedom. Like today, for instance, my last meeting was, I had a meeting with my manager and my colleagues, and we ended around 11:30, and I decided to take an early lunch. So I went to the gym, came back. Literally after I came back, 30 minutes later, I got, we are all on Slack, and he put a message and said, if you guys are done with whatever you're doing, done for your job for the day, he said, go ahead and, close your computer and have an early start to your 3-day weekend. I'm like, thank you. I could have stayed in the gym a little bit longer, but that's not the point.
That shows you care, though, because you're like, I want to get back. I'm going to hit the phones, whatever it is. But yeah, keep going.
But I loved, and this is going to sound so bad, I love just knowing that if you're ever late and you work remote, you just deserve to get fired.
I don't think I've ever heard someone talk about that. If you're late while working remote,
just get fired. You deserve to be fired.
My dog ate my computer charger.
Like, you really have literally no excuse. 2 days ago, my alarm somehow it didn't go off. My eyes just opened because I guess my body was like, hey, we're not supposed to be sleeping this long. I woke up and it was 10 minutes before I had to clock in. Okay, it's 10 minutes, more than enough time to sit in front of the computer, clock in, and it's like, good morning. So I love
live on Slack, that green notification. You're ready to go. Hobbies and business.
Right. Like they have no clue what's happening in the background, So I love the freedom that a remote gives. It's just, and you get to save money on gas. I mean, I don't remember last time. I think I put gas in my car maybe at the beginning of the month. I don't know, but I know it wasn't anytime soon. Unless I go to the gym or go out, the car is parked. I don't have to worry about, So it's so much convenient. It's so much convenient. If I ever want to travel, I just grab my laptop with me and work while on vacation without having to take a vacation.
Man, when you're at the gym and you get that meeting that comes in via email, that gym pipeline, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
The reason we're here is to talk about your story and emphasize how you got to that point where you believed, hey, I'm going to change things. I can do it. I'm going to seek out the information. So we've linked the free tech sales introductory course below for anyone that wants to go listen to it. What advice would you have to whoever may be listening, wherever they may be at in life, because they were in your position probably a couple months ago? You have a unique background because you've had experience, but not necessarily tech experience or perhaps a lot of sales experience. You were doing marketing for a while and of course some insurance. So you have some familiarity, but what advice would you give to someone that's on the fence of saying, you know what, I've checked out the free intro course. I I have the money, but I don't know if it's worth investing in course careers. Maybe I can go find something else. What advice would you have for that person that thinks tech's for them, but they're just not quite ready to commit?
I have no college degree. I never thought I would be in tech. So I was one of those people that did not know if tech was for me or I could do it. Because when you hear tech, you thinking, the smartest people on earth and geniuses and so on and so forth. But you you gotta be at a place in life where you want it. Like for me, I wanted that change, and I would say I have a healthy obsession when I make up my mind. You gotta invest in yourself, because if you don't, who will? If you don't believe in yourself, who will? And again, what made me say I'm doing this, it was December 13th. I remember. I was just watching TV. I said, you know what? I'm off for like a week. Instead of just sitting home watching TV, might as well just go ahead and sign up. Again, I knew that I wanted to get into tech. That was no question asked. It was just what avenue. And
Mm.
there are a lot of courses that did not, the price wise, none of them is close to course career. So I knew, number one, because I had a 1099, I knew it was going to be a tax write-off, worst case scenario. But number two, I said, what do I got to lose? Like, I know, again, it wasn't a matter of will I get into tech. Is once I get the knowledge, I know I will get in. Because what I got from Cyrus during his interview, he said he applied to over 200 companies. Initially, when I heard, I thought he was exaggerating. He was not. I applied to over 130 companies, and my company that I'm working with, they were literally the only company that actually reached out to me for an interview. So out of 130 plus applications, one reached out for an interview, and that's the one that hired me. So I knew that it's a power of one. That's you just need one person to say yes. So each day I was applying, all I kept telling myself was, it's not a matter of if I'm going to get in, it's when I'll get in. And it's not a matter of how many people are going to, how many companies are going to give me an interview. Is I just need one interview. And I know myself, and not to brag, but I said, man, any company that give me an interview, they're going to love me. They're going to hire me. And that's exactly what happened. So when I got after my first interview, I called one of my friends. I said, I'm getting a job. So they hired you. I said, no, I got about 3 months to go, but that's okay. I know I'm getting a job because number one, I know my background. Number two, I know what I learned in course careers, and course careers gives you literally all the tools from the book. Oh my God, the book. If I can give anybody advice, when you sign up, don't skip any step. The books, don't think that you can skim through or bypass. Literally, you have to be a student and you have to follow every material that's been put out there, because it's going to help you tremendously. And that's exactly what it did. And I still have the books till today. Once in a while, I talk to myself like, I need to read. I don't know if I'm okay to say any book, but one of the books, I need to read it at least once every quarter, because it's literally the Bible of B2B. And it's like, it was worth way more than how much I paid for the course. Way, way more. I should have started way sooner than I did. I procrastinated, and time is something I can never get back, but we're here.
130 companies.
Yep. One day I applied to 20. The next day I applied to like 15 and 10. I mean, and I kept getting, every day I woke up to, unfortunately, it got to the point where it was like a rubber bullet. I was like, okay. Even after I got hired, I still kept receiving rejection. I'm like, okay. I get the point. You guys don't want me, but somebody does.
Oh man, I'll be dropping some bombs today. Wow, that was some good stuff. There's 100% someone out there listening that's like, yeah, that's it. You're speaking to the people, and that truly is an inspirational story.
And if I can give a timeline, because you can't, nothing works unless you work. So I bought the program December 13th, and by December 22nd, I was done. So in 9 days, because I took time off of work, And even though I took time off of work, I literally was studying 8 hours plus a day. So I finished the whole course in 9 days. So out of the books, one of them I had already read it, right? And so the other two I ordered it immediately, and I like to read, so it was nothing for me to. I read one of them Audible. I finished it in the same day. I started playing in the morning, and throughout my day, as I'm moving around, I was listening to it. I finished it. So and the reason why I finished so quick is because I wanted it that bad. I told myself 2023, we're getting into tech. I'm breaking into tech. So I was, again, the keyword healthy obsession. Once I make up my mind to do something and I focus on it, I'm not stopping till the job gets done. So in 9 days I finished, and from the time I finished, passed my test, literally a month later, I got hired at my company now.
Wow, 9 days. Yeah, I think the healthy obsession, it's important, because if you're all in, and even if with your company, I always like to say I'm doing backstroke in the company Kool-Aid. If you're all in, it puts you in the best position to be successful.
Absolutely.
Well, Hobby, thank you so much for being here today. We'll link your LinkedIn down below so everyone can go connect with you and buy insurance from you directly. Because you take referrals now. We'll get your quota up there. We'll also link the free tech sales intro course below for anyone that wants to go check it out. 90 minutes content. You can see my face, break down why tech sales, what is it, how do you actually get in it. And Hobby, thank you so much. You shared a few insights today that I listened to, and I thought, man, I'm glad I learned that today. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the time.